Hey guys, Mark Anthony here from SiGMA Group, and today in the studio with me I have Ross Parkhill, who's the CEO of Rhino Entertainment. Let's go! Hi Ross, welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Ross, Rhino Entertainment, what can you tell me about them?
Well, first, there's quite a few companies with Rhino in their name these days. It must have been a popular African theme at one point. Rhino Entertainment, we are a B2C operator. It's almost 3.5 years ago now, the sort of few founders and original team came together and decided that there was probably an opening in emerging markets for someone to create like a nice product, nice user experience, because at the time we felt that some of the other operators were maybe focused on some of the other regulated markets. So unbelievably, almost 3 years ago now in July, we launched our first brand, Casino Days, which is our flagship brand still. And really since then, we've just been trying to keep on growing, focusing. As a company now, we've shifted. We've now got the Ontario license and Estonia license, so even ourselves, we went down more regulated route. And we've launched another 3 brands, so it's been quite a hectic few years. But thankfully heading in the right direction. And so far so good as far as the company goes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best, of course.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Well, there are some rumors of a strong interest in the Asian market, specifically India. Well, what can you tell me about that?
I mean, listen, India's a pretty fascinating place, fascinating market. It comes with challenges without doubt. I mean, we've been there now for a few years, but even the sheer size of it, it's now the most populous country in the world. But that can actually make it really hard. While it's great to have scale like that, half the country, because unfortunately poverty line and things like this, can't even afford to deposit or want to deposit. So you have to be really careful when you're marketing there. Even things like mobile devices and markets like that, we see mobile devices in India you don't see anywhere else, or you don't see in Europe or North America for sure. So that and payments and all makes the market quite challenging. But we've actually been there now operating for a couple of years, have built up really good relationships, lots of knowledge. So it's still for me, one of the more exciting markets that we operate in. And I like my cricket as well. So I don't know if you're a cricket man, but
I have my interest.
They love it. You cannot, like, if people talk about cricket in Bollywood, you just like being religions. It's true. So yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Do you intend to relocate there at one point?
I've been a few times. I really enjoy it, but the relocation maybe not. Go is nice, but I'm not too.
Going
sure.
is nice. Yeah. Living in it though,
yeah,
it's a culture shock, I would say though. I mean, coming from Europe. Yeah,
it can be. It can, like anywhere, if you go to LATAM and some other countries nowadays, it can be different. But listen, really friendly, warm people.
Most definitely.
Really good vibing. And at the moment, the economy's, growing and the country's growing. So no, really fascinating part of the world. And thankfully, it's, it's somewhere that we're doing quite well in. So
good.
Long may it continue.
Great. Through the grapevine, I heard that there might also be some interest in Japan. Am I right to say that?
You find out who you've been talking to, but no.
I've done my research.
Japan. Listen, Japan brings it's a different world altogether. Again, quite a few of our original investors had operated in Japan before, so they knew some of the challenges there. And when we say challenges, like before we entered, a lot of people had always talked about trust. The Japanese culture and trust. And it was hard to really fully dive into it and believe it until we got in there ourselves. But whether it be the players themselves and building up trust for your brand, you literally players sign up and test it out and then not come back and make their first deposit for a month later. We don't see that type of trend anywhere else or that type of behaviour. But even your marketing partners, some of these marketing partners would, take a long time before they'll put you on their site, because again, they want to make sure you're in it for the long run. And so it's been it's a super interesting challenge there. And again, the language bar. So we've just been going slow and steady, building up a team, localizing the product to be much more sort of focused in that market. And I think actually for me, that's probably the most exciting thing about Japan. We've built a really strong and focused dev team now, and they love working on the exciting projects. And Japan's probably the easiest place to do the exciting stuff, because if we launched like a raffles thing recently where players get tickets, and without doubt, the most interaction, the most engagement was in Japan. So
there's a level of curiosity though.
Yeah, and they just love product. Like they like features that are aimed at the player. Whereas in some other markets, maybe the players don't care, just they want to play. But in Japan, there's a different side to it. So no, it's quite cool. So we can build more things there. And listen, you have to be in there for a long run, and we're in there. But it does come with its own challenges. But again, super interesting market and one where it's nice to be in there a wee bit earlier, even though we're in still not the first movers by any means with some of the players in there, but just trying to get in there and fight for our little corner of it, which is important.
That's terrific. I think that's going to be a brilliant step forward. That's wow. I mean, Asia. So you went to India. Now you're interested in Japan. I think it's a good strategy. There's a lot that Rhino Entertainment can bring in, and it's a great region to grow in. I mean, especially at this very point in time.
For sure, hard like everywhere else, but yeah, we believe so, and it's a big part of our strategy going forward.
Great. Well, Ross, I have one last question for you. Of course, there is a strategy, right? I'm guessing you have a strategy in competing with your competitors out there. You've mentioned entering Ontario. So, I mean, there are big names like MGM, Ontario. What's the strategy there?
Listen, it's a challenge. Some of these guys have deep pockets. We just try and box smart. We have, obviously got a great commercial team, great CCO, great country management there. We've always done really well performance marketing, so we lead with a lot of digital, and we try and focus in there. We have now started doing a little bit of out of home with TV and above the line with TV and out of home, and we think we've created a really nice, catchy creative, And then we were reviewing some of our competitors, and MGM have, they've got Jamie Foxx and they've got Wayne Gretzky, so it is hard. So I think first and foremost, you just have to make sure you're boxing very, very smart. Try and use your funds where you can. And for us, going back more to our roots of some of these big guys are so big and they're focused maybe in the US market or other markets. We don't feel they give the Ontario market the love it deserves. So we're very much trying to create a product where if we are able to get players in, they realise it's a better casino product than they can get elsewhere. So whether it be user experience or the rewards they get, or just the customer service, whatever the case may be, we're really trying to focus that down, because we feel if we just box smart and give it a bit more love than the others are, then we can succeed there. But yeah, it is hard when you're up against the big boys and their endless supply of money. So and there's plenty of them in there. But so far, so good. It will take time, but so far, so good.
Russ, thank you very much for the insights and for stopping by, for taking time out of your day and coming here to join us. And I wish you all the very best for your future ventures.
Much appreciated, and we'll need the luck. Thank you very much.
Definitely.
Good man. Cheers.
Cheers.